comes from a history of the fact that they had to, because of segregation, they had to establish their own schools and churches. Yeah, African Americans.
Well, that's true. And everybody got along good back then.
Sorry, say that again.
The segregation, everybody got along good.
Are you worried about the future now? That there will be more violence?
I think there will definitely be more violence. I think whenever a politician or a preacher or a newscaster only wants to condemn the white nationalists in Charlottesville, but doesn't want to equally condemn, at least equally condemn the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter and the anti-white demonstrators, it emboldens them. They're desecrating our cemeteries. They're taking down monuments of our heroes. They want to urinate on the symbols of our faith, and we're supposed to just accept it. And if we offer just a whimper of protest, we're considered haters and bigots and monsters and Nazis.
There's nothing about your message that's mainstream.
Stand any of y'all in America anymore. I'm gonna tell you white nationalist sons of bitches up there in Virginia something though real quick. You don't represent me. You don't represent the South. You don't represent Southern heritage or Southern culture, and you damn sure don't represent white people. You're a little small speck of fucking crud in this country, and we're about tired of it. And that goes for the black haters too. We're getting tired of the hate.
Since when the f*** has America ever been white? What, when we came over here and killed the Indians? And whenever we brought black folks over here to do the work?
That's not why we created it.
Yes.
But the origins of the swastika as well were not racist. It was a Hindu symbol for well-being and health. So that has transformed into be a discriminatory, bigotry symbol. The same thing has happened with the Confederate flag. So you don't see people like putting the swastika up saying, oh, this is for well-being and health. It has transformed and evolved as over time. So the same thing has happened with the Confederate flag. So now it doesn't.
I agree with that. I think you have every right to identify with it, but I think it's extremely bigoted and hateful to do that when you are like aware of what it stands for. And you can claim that it stands for states' rights, but if you like took a history class, I assume you know that states' rights in the context of the Civil War were about slavery. Sure, they were about other things, but they were majority about slavery. You took a history class, you know that. You're choosing to be bigoted, and I don't understand that.
I don't want to live in a world without black women. I love black women. I ain't going to supercuts to get a haircut. They gonna my up 9 times out of 10. I don't want to live in a world without NFL, NBA, stand-up comedy. That is funny as to me. Eddie Griffin, Red Fox.
Side would have won, then absolutely we'd be focusing on, we'd look at this North poorly, and we'd
I probably wouldn't be teaching you if the South would have won. I'd probably be chilling somewhere else. All right.
Can I have like 3 examples of what else the Civil War was about that was not slavery?
This is an argument about the Civil War.
Okay, yeah.
That's what makes America great. All the different people that work together, live together. Shut that make America white again, whatever the these assholes are saying. Shut that up.
So, John, let me ask you something. How come black troops in World War II fought so miserably? They surrendered, they didn't fight very hard. He said, Frank, where'd you hear that? I said, my father told me that. Now, John could have said, your father's an idiot. If he'd said it, the conversation is over. I never would have gone anywhere. He didn't say that. He said, Franklin, I don't think you and I know enough about that to discuss it intelligently. Save my face, save my father's face. He said, but let me ask you something. You have anybody fight in World War II? I said, yeah, I had 2 uncles. One was in the Philippines. One was at Pearl Harbor when it was bombed. He said, is that right? He said, I did too. I had 2 uncles fight in World War II. I said, great. He said, you know where we eat lunch? I said, you don't eat with me. He said, that's right. My uncles and I, who fought in World War II for freedom and justice and pursuit of happiness, we get on a bus and we ride 2 miles out of town to eat lunch because none of the stores we shop in will let us eat. And my stomach got tight, and I didn't want to hear any more. He said, did you go to the bathroom? I said, yeah, I go to the bathroom. He said, where do you go? I said, I go anywhere I want. He said, Munkles and I, we get on a bus. We ride 2 miles out of town to go to the bathroom because we can't go anywhere. I listened for the rest of the 3 hours. When I got to my dorm, I lay down and cried. I sobbed for 3 hours. Next day I went in and talked to the dean of men. I said, it's crazy. We're studying English and math and science. And right across the street over there, we got people, citizens we don't even know.
And the problem with shame and colorblind goodness is that they are like emotional straitjackets, tying our hands and covering our mouths when it comes to race. The problem is we've been bad students of racism. Not only have we not done our homework, but we've been working on the wrong assignment, our goodness. Instead of listening and learning to the voices of those experiencing racism and then joining them in fighting it, we've been working on another project altogether. And I would know, because I've spent most of my life trying really hard to be a good white person. I love making people laugh, and I pride myself on having friends from all walks of life and from all around the world, but eventually I realized that my goodness made me feel good, but it wasn't doing much for making the world good.
One of my 3rd grade students seemed pretty rocked after the Eric Garner case or death, and came up to me and said, you know, why, when you were little, like, were you worried about this stuff too? And I knew what he was talking about before. I mean, I didn't say, what do you mean, what stuff? I didn't want to, you know, play dumb. And I said, you know, no, like, I didn't have to be, and that's not fair.
As Southerners, we have an intimate relationship with the land, the dirt. In fact, when we want to talk about hard work, we even say things like, you got to roll your sleeves up and get your hands dirty. And man, I wish we had that energy for working against white supremacy in the world. Because for a people that love meritocracies, we have not been pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps in racial justice work.